There are people out there right now who are starting businesses.
Absolutely.
We know exactly what that feels like.
You're right in front of them, so it's like having a billboard that you're actually putting right in front of somebody's face.
When you're considering adding corporate apparel to your brand, these are some things that you should consider.
A lot of website companies, they build it and then they have the ownership of it, and then you don't. You want to own your website.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Compass podcast. I'm Nick Prentice here. We're so happy you're with us today. I am thrilled to be sitting here with some very special guests of ours. One of our great customers for many, many years, Oakwood Resort of Syracuse on Lake Wawasee here in Indiana. And we're just going to turn it over to them here for a little bit so they can tell us a little bit about what Oakwood is all about, and how you guys can come and enjoy the same things that I've enjoyed over the years at Oakwood. And then we're going to move into some of the unique challenges that Oakwood Resort has in marketing, so you all can learn a little something from it. So I'll start down here with Alyssa, but then if you could introduce Alyssa and Kaley. Alyssa, if you could introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Oakwood.
Perfect. Hi, thank you. My name is Alyssa Trout. I'm the general manager at Oakwood Resort. I've been there for about 3 years at this point, so I kind of oversee all the various departments, the hotel, as well as our special events, and then we have an on-site restaurant. So that's what I do at Oakwood.
I'm Kaley Wolfe. I have been there for about a year now. August will make a year, which is crazy. It's time is just flying by. I'm the director of operations for the hotel side of things. So I oversee housekeeping, front desk, all the social media, website, basically anything with the main resort building is what I oversee.
Fantastic. Great. So Alyssa, we'll come to you back here since you've been there longer, I guess. Why don't you start with just telling us, what is Oakwood Resort?
Yeah, so Oakwood Resort, I think we kind of touched on this, but it's been many things over the last, over 100 years. Oakwood Resort has existed on that site. So it's in Syracuse, Indiana. It's on Lake Wawasee.
Absolutely. This beautiful campus.
Yes, thank you. It is beautiful. We're actually the only resort left on Lake Wawasee. There used to be about 12 on the lake. All of it has kind of gone the route of, private residences, condominiums. So Oakwood Resort is the last kind of, it's the legacy of that area. We are a full service resort, so we have the main hotel. We have 79 hotel rooms. We also have some vacation cottages that we rent out seasonally. We have an on-site restaurant, and in the summer we have tons of outdoor dining. We have a tiki bar that actually floats on the water. We have a tour boat that goes out, and you can go and see the lake on Friday and Saturday evenings. And then we do a lot of special events as well. Yeah. So it's a lot. We do a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Kaley, how about you share a little bit about the special events side of things? I know that's not necessarily in your exact coverage area, but as Oakwood Resort in general, why should a corporation consider Oakwood Resort as an option, and what kind of capacities and sizes do you have for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a bunch of conference rooms. We can do full service lunches, full service dinners. We have breakfast options, so we can really do it all. You can start your morning with us, start your morning meeting with a nice breakfast on us, and then throughout the day, visit the lake, the beach, maybe go out on the lake for the tour boat, or we have some bikes that we've seen some groups take out on like a group bike ride. So it's a lot of fun, and we could really just do all of it.
Yeah. What I really love about that as an opportunity for a corporation having like their business meetings there, or they're bringing their clients in and things like that, is that especially in the summer months. I mean, we'll talk about the winter months a little bit too later on here, but especially in the summer months, there's so much to do for the family, right? So you can bring your whole family, and you can basically have the campus almost to yourself, right? Yeah. And hold all your meetings that you need, and have everything all in one place with the restaurant there. You have the coffee is available, and the beach and everything, and then you can spend your evenings and afternoons with your family still. And they could be hanging out without the businessman out in the meeting. So it's a really, really sweet opportunity, especially on beautiful Lake Wawasee. And if you don't know about Lake Wawasee, you need to look it up because it's pretty incredible.
It is.
So. Yeah, it's cool. It's the largest lake, the largest freshwater lake in the state. I think what's nice too about doing events at Oakwood is it's kind of a one-stop shop. Like there's a lot of event spaces in the area, but what's nice about what we do is you can come there and you can stay. I mean, we have the hotel, we have the restaurant. Like it's all inclusive to some extent, and so you don't have to. If you have a wedding there, for example, all of your guests can stay in the same place, which is huge because there's not really anything else like that. I think in Kosciuszko County.
Yeah, well, that's an important point because there's not only business events. I mean, weddings, reunions, and things like that are always an option that are there as well. So tell me about what you guys do. You've been around for over 100 years. And you guys have, especially here recently, really been picking up your game of all the local activities that you guys are doing and participating in. One of my favorite ones is in February with your polar bear plunge, and that's hilarious and fun.
Yeah.
But tell me about how you guys are connected and kind of ingrained in the community, and some things that you host, some things that you sponsor or are a part of, and things like that.
Well, we've been trying to, like you said, kind of do a lot more. We're very seasonal. We're really busy in the summer, but we try to kind of chisel out some time to host local events. We do, like you said, the polar plunge. In the winter, people actually jump into the lake in the middle of winter. That's a huge wintertime event for us. We're actually doing like a summer polar plunge this weekend coming up. We're partnering with some of our liquor vendors, and they're actually bringing cold plunge tanks, and they're going to set them up by the restaurant patio. And so people can come and cold plunge right by the restaurant patio, and we're partnering with WACF, which is a really important organization to Lake Wawasee. And so all proceeds and stuff kind of raised with that event will go back to them. We did a really fun dog walking event. It was a pet parade at the beginning of summer, and Tito's actually came out and they did like a pop-up bar, and they had like bandanas and they engraved dog tags, and we raised a lot of money for that, and we gave it back to the local shelter. And so I think it's part of kind of our goal is to, we recognize that we have this space, and we want to be able to kind of open it up to local nonprofits and businesses that want to come and partner with us and do different kinds of events.
Yeah. Well, I want to save the second half of the podcast really for kind of the particulars about marketing and marketing challenges that you see in the space that you're in. But maybe let's talk a little bit, and Kaley, maybe you could share about this, the challenges that we have in Northern Indiana with seasonality of a lot of what we do. We live in the county of lakes. Like Kosciuszko County here is full of amazing outdoor opportunities, and we see a challenge for most of our businesses here in the county and the northern part of the United States, is in the winter times things get a lot harder. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, some of the challenges you guys see, and maybe some things that you guys have been doing and had to be more creative with your marketing approach or just communications with your guests on things that can happen in the winter.
Yeah, absolutely. So during the summer, clearly we have all of our things. We have the tour boat running, we have the tiki bar, we have, the one-stop shop situation. During the winter, it's not so much. Our tiki bar closes, our tour boat gets put away. And so that business kind of dwindles down for us.
Hard to do that on the ice.
Yeah. So how we handle that is inviting in the community. So we, market to our locals for our pasta nights and our fajita nights in the restaurant. Or our rooms, we do, a back to school special, so they can have, a little few days away before they're back to school.
That sounds awesome.
You should.
That is great.
Yeah.
There we go. Sounds good.
Yeah. Or during, for events, we do like a New Year's Eve party, and that's really our locals and the liquors that are, local and not in Florida. So
right.
We have a lot of that in Syracuse.
Yes, we do. A lot of our Laker friends, they go to Florida during the winter, and we lose that business. So I really think just bringing in the locals is a huge asset to them.
Yeah, very good. Well, I want to take just a small break here before we get into more of the marketing discussion of the types of marketing that you guys do and challenges that you have of all the different things that you're running with restaurant, hotel, and events and all the things, right? So we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. But I want to take just a little break for a project spotlight here, and I'd love for you guys to see some of the really fun projects we've been able to partner with Oakwood on. So we'll just take a break, let you guys take a look at that. We'll be back in a few. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around with us here as we get back with our friends from Oakwood Resort up on beautiful Lake Wawasee in Syracuse, Indiana. I hope you enjoyed some of the projects we just showed you there. Hope you're inspired by some of the really fun things we've been able to work on with you guys. I think honestly one of my favorites, what might have actually been a little bit before you started there, Alyssa. I don't remember. We made some magnets for your doors.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh yeah.
we were a little creative with it. They used to be kind of just simple, like the magnets were meant to be put on the outside of the door when guests don't need their rooms cleaned, right? So we called it a no wake zone.
Yes.
So Ashley was the designer that worked on that. So we had a lot of fun with kind of being creative a little bit, and the no wake zone. Hey, we're sleeping, so no wake, or obviously you're on a wake on a lake,
Right.
so the wake, right? So we just had some fun with that. That was one of my favorites. And I remember the first time we had huge ones, and then we ended up scaling that. That was
We still
overkill.
have
We didn't really need the
some.
big ones.
They're around.
Yeah, so we started making some smaller ones, and it's a fun little keepsake because obviously you guys probably see this a lot. I mean, when you're at a hotel, things tend to go home with the guests, right?
All the time.
So
The
yeah,
magnets disappear constantly.
I figured so. That's good job security for us, right?
Yeah.
If we make attractive magnets, maybe they'll take them with them.
Yeah.
But it's important if they're going to take this kind of stuff. Like we want them to remember
Yes.
where they got it, so they
Yeah.
come back. So it's a small price to pay to make sure that they remember it and they come back. But that was one of the really fun ones that we had an opportunity to work with you
those are
guys
really
on.
cool.
But so let's jump into to some of the marketing challenges that a resort like you guys have. Maybe Kaley, we can start with you.
Yeah.
And we've already addressed the challenge of Northern Indiana and the seasonality to it all. But I want to talk just a little bit about how your diversity and the things that you offer at the resort is also a marketing challenge, because we really have, I think maybe we discovered earlier, that we have like 3 to 5 different businesses really in one, right? So you've got the resort, where you've got hospitality things to think about, and marketing for like listing sites and all the logistics behind all of that, which is tremendous, right? You got the restaurant, you've got the events, you've got the retail store of all the cool Lake Wawasee and Oakwood Resort swag that folks can purchase. Which if you don't have any, you should check that out and get your own, right? So there's a lot of different things, and each one is quite different. Not to mention the challenges of seasonality, but running a restaurant is way different than running a hotel, right? So let's talk a little bit about just number one, how do you guys keep your sanity and trying to manage all those types of businesses at once?
Yeah.
What do you think?
There's no template for Oakwood Resort. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Everything is different. Every day comes with new challenges. And I think that the way that we market is just coming up with a room full of our managers. We all sit down and we figure out what we need to promote and what the event details are going to look like and which department's doing what and what that falls into. And I think that the biggest challenge for us is figuring out how to put it into words as what department is, handling what and what the little things fall under. So like a pop-up shop for like Tito's, who handles that and marketing that and figuring out what department is in charge of doing that. And I think that's the biggest challenge for us is just kind of figuring out where these things fall. Yeah.
Whose responsibility is it?
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So Alyssa, what would you say would be like your favorite piece of all that?
I think what I like most about Oakwood is that it is a chance to kind of like dip your toes into all of it. Like that's what makes it exciting for me. Like it's not just a restaurant, it's not just a hotel. We don't just do events. So it's like it is challenging to try to put all the pieces together. But I also think that's what makes it special because there is so many different things going on.
And your
Yeah.
background's in restaurant. You've
My
been
background's in
the restaurant
restaurants.
industry before.
Yeah, I actually worked at a lake resort when I was a kid. It was like my job right after high school, and it was kind of similar to Oakwood. And the first time I ever went there, I was like, this really reminds me of that.
Cool.
And so it was fun to kind of come back to that in my adult life and be able to like see it from a completely different perspective. I was definitely like the server in the restaurant, back then. And so it's cool to see them trying to like pull one over on me now. And I was like, no, I used to do that.
I know what you're doing.
But so, I mean, I've kind of dabbled in all the pieces of it, but what's fun about Oakwood is trying to put it all together. And how do we make all of these different moving parts come together?
They support each other.
Yeah, support each other. Because I think I think without one, it's not, it's not Oakwood, because part of the reason why people book events there is because we have the hotel and they can spend the night, and we have the restaurant and they can go visit the bar late at night. And I think that's appealing. And so I think it takes it all, working together to be special.
Yeah. Yeah. So with all those moving pieces, I guess whoever wants to answer this is fine. You can both take a crack at it here, but what would you say is important to you? So other restaurants or retail shops or hotels, restaurants that are listening and watching this podcast, like what would you say would be some essential factors and partners that you would work with? Like what are some things that are really important to you with all the moving pieces that you have going on? What's really important?
Gosh, that's tough.
It is tough.
I think when I personally, like when I'm seeking partnerships, or since I've come to the area, I guess, and started the job and, at Oakwood, is I think it's important to kind of lift up the community itself. I think, Kosciuszko County, Syracuse, it's a small town, and we are all very seasonal. And so we've really looked to partner locally more. We do a lot more within Syracuse. We do a lot more within Kosciuszko County. That's kind of how we, built our relationship with you guys. But I think, in order for this area to continue to thrive and prosper, I think having those strategic partnerships within the area is important, because that's kind of what gives back to you in the winter. And if we're, if we hire dynamic landscaping, a local, just up the road to come and do our flowers and stuff in the summer, like they're going to remember that in the winter when we're struggling, and they're probably going to be the ones that come and eat in our restaurant. And so I think having, people are going to want to come to Oakwood more, and if the whole area is somewhere they want to visit. And so I think it's important to seek partnerships within the area.
Unfortunately, that is really going by the wayside a lot nowadays. Is ordering online is simple. In most cases, right? You have some drawbacks there, but I'm glad to hear that that's the way you're thinking about things, because it is like that's one of the great things about Kosciuszko County, and we say this a lot, and you probably have heard if you're watching the podcast now, and you've heard on our other podcasts we've had, we talk about this a lot, about how we're pretty unique in Kosciuszko County. We're kind of in this little bubble here, and there is a true feeling of people wanting to help each other, and businesses wanting to invest in each other and help out and support each other, and I mean, you guys offer enough cool things, and you don't have to hire us to come in and visit your restaurant anyways. But we're thankful that you have chosen to partner with us. It's a blessing.
It's important.
Yeah. So how important is pricing? Yeah, obviously there's so much that you're doing. Yeah.
It's very important.
So I thought that was going to be the first thing you're going to leave with, to be honest. So yes.
Yeah, no, it's very important.
Yeah.
Our owner definitely likes to save a penny.
I don't think he'll listen to this.
No, but he does. He definitely likes to save a penny. And so I think that's a huge part of our jobs, especially, is helping him do that so that we are successful to him. And he leaves us in charge of, running this business for him and making those decisions on the day to day. And I think it's just a huge thank you for helping us do that, and other local businesses as well.
Yeah. So I was surprised you didn't leave with that, to be honest.
Me too.
I think those of you that are watching, leaving it hang out there for you. Yeah. So pricing is always a challenge. And that's one of the pieces that I really enjoy about super serving, and Bill, especially. Bill's kind of our big super server here. Bill Hayes, he's our customer service salesman that a title doesn't give him due.
They love Bill.
No.
Yeah, Bill is fantastic. So he's our super server, right? So, but one of my favorite pieces is how do we get creative to make this work financially, right?
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite questions to ask when I sit down with new customers and new businesses is like, if money was on the table, what's your dream? Like, what do you want? What do you want this to be? And so often we're limited by finances, which is true. We are limited by our finances, right? But let's get creative and figure out how we can make that happen. So sometimes it's really not as expensive as the business owners would think.
Right.
So let's just start dreaming without that as a restriction. And then once we figure out what it is, like, well, okay, let's figure out how to make it work. So there's so many different things that can be done, and marketing to stretch the dollar. You know, there's different quantities you can order during phases. You can look at different quality of garments. You know, instead of ordering a Nike, you could go with a Gildan.
Yeah.
You know, so there's lots of different options. That's one of my favorite pieces to do is, okay, let's get creative. Let's figure out how do we make this work. You know, how do we figure out how to get 500 t-shirts down to this price?
Right.
And we figure it out. It's one of the really great things about it. But pricing is, as much as we love to dream about not being an issue, it is absolutely a barrier for everybody that's listening. Whether you're a small company with 1 or 2 people, or you're Fortune 500 franchise, corporation, so it's always, there's always some barrier there. So I would say it is important to have those open and honest conversations with the companies that you're looking at partnering with. If you're like a restaurant or a hotel or a resort that's watching this right now, I have those open conversations with your marketing companies. And like, this is where I really need to be. What can we do to get there? And if they're not willing to do that, then they're probably not the best fit for you, and you probably need to look at some other options. But they should be, because they're a small business too, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, any other things that that you would say that you're really looking for in a partner when look back at your other relationships that you have at the moment, of other marketing partners that you're with, and what are some things that kind of stand out to you that think of things like ease of access and turnaround times and those kind of things.
Yeah, I think that's another, a huge piece of tying in with kind of the local thing. Like, it's huge to be able to just pick up your phone and call somebody or send a text message, or a lot of times if you're dealing with online or you're ordering, it's like there's nobody on the other end that really has your back in the same way that having a local strategic partner would. Like, we'll get stuff for the gift shop and it'll sell out in a weekend, and then our gift shop is looking really empty, and to just be like, hey Nick, hey Bill, like we need to restock, and can we maybe rush this one a little bit? Like, that's very, very important to us. So having good communication, and
especially in a retail space, right?
Yeah.
Retail space, things happen and change so quickly.
Right.
You get one big family that comes through, and everybody wants the same hoodie, and you run out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That happened not too long ago.
Good. That's great.
Yeah. Well, even like the signs that you guys just did for us, like, it's something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, but to be able to like sit down and actually like to put that into words is really hard. But to have somebody to come and walk around with you and be like, okay, so I'm thinking something here and we need something here. And then to be able to kind of follow it up with an email. But it's a lot different when somebody knows the place, first of all, and they know your vision because they've been there. They've actually spent time there. And so it's a lot easier to, I guess, market it if you've been there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I think some of that advice would be helpful to those that are watching right now. I just want to wrap up by giving you guys an opportunity to share with the audience how to get a hold of you, and maybe some cool staple events that you guys have coming up, that they need to check out, right? So how would somebody reach out to you at Oakwood Resort?
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
Give us a call or visit our website. We have somebody staffed 24 hours a day that is able to answer your phone call. If you're just looking to book a room or looking for our events that are coming up, the website is always up to date and ready to go with those things.
What is your URL? The website?
It is www.oakwoodresort.com.
Resort.com.
Yep. And we have a brand new fancy website that's very user friendly, and I think you should be able to find all the things you need on there for sure. Yeah.
What kind of events do we have coming up?
Coming up, well, we're about to start our boat shows, which is kind of an interesting thing. It's unfortunately not open to the public, but we do big trade shows at Oakwood every year for Bennington, Smokercraft, and Godfrey, which are all local Indiana manufacturers. So that's starting this weekend, actually. So the next 3 weeks we're in boat show season, as we like to call it. And then we're doing a fun back to school promotional special the end of August. We're discounting our hotel rooms for a weekend so people can come and bring their kids.
That's so cool.
Yeah. We just thought it would be fun to do kind of like a last hurrah for people. And then we head into Labor Day weekend, which is a huge weekend for us because it's kind of the last weekend on the lake for a lot of people. So if you follow us on Facebook, well, you should follow us on Facebook, but
that's a good thing to do right now.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook, but we post all of our events and stuff on there as well and kind of give some more information as to what we're doing. But we'll probably have a bunch of different pop-ups. Our Tiki Bar will be heading into its last weekend at the beginning of September. So the tour boat usually goes away mid-September, so there's just a few weekends left to come out and take a ride on Lake Wawasee. So that's all.
Of course, the restaurant's always open.
The restaurant's always open.
Visit that frequently and often.
Yep. Yeah. We stay open even in the winter, which a lot of people, I don't think, realize that. I think, a lot of things kind of shut down in winter, but we stay open year round because the hotel's still open and we want to be able to provide that amenity to our hotel guests. And so it's open to the public.
Yeah. There's plenty of parking. Just walk right through the front door, right back to the restaurant area. Yeah, we've shared some fun stories of my youth at the restaurant. Very early.
Shenanigans. That's kind of another thing about Oakwood that I found to be really heartwarming when I moved here. I feel like a lot of people have like a special connection to it. Like everyone almost has like whether they worked there or they know somebody that worked there or their family vacation there or they went to camp or the amount of people that we have call that are like, I met my husband at camp and so we come every year. Like it's just a really...
Or they got married there.
Yeah, they got married. It's special to a lot of people. And so we want to... preserve that.
Yeah. Beautiful venue. Incredible. So you just mentioned weddings and I just thought of it. How far out should they be planning?
Book now.
Yes.
For next year.
Yeah. I would say full year for weddings for sure. And
that's pretty common.
Full year in advance. We're already booking weddings for 2026. Something we started to do this year, which is really, really fun, is we're doing a lot of micro weddings. So people that are 30 or under, and we've done a ton of them this year. And I hope to just continue to do them. So people that aren't looking to do the, 200 person, but micro weddings. And we've done them on Thursdays and Fridays, and we can sneak them in on a random Saturday. But that's been hugely popular. So we want to promote that as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so very much. Not only for being on the show, but it is a blessing to have you guys as partners. It is a lot of fun. We really enjoy it. I know Bill enjoys it. Diane really enjoys it. I need a shout out to Diane. She does a ton of work on your project.
Shout out to Diane. Also. You're great. Everyone's great.
So it's been great growing this relationship over the last, I don't know, we talked earlier, like maybe 8 years ago when we first had started talking with you guys at Oakwood, and it's grown into a really cool thing, and we really appreciate that. Appreciate you being on the show and sharing with everyone here. And thank you guys for listening. I do ask for you, please check out oakwoodresort.com and follow them on Facebook. Try to make it out there if you're local. Check out the restaurant, check out the facilities, and kind of dream a little bit about how you could utilize them and be a blessing to them too. And then go ahead and like and subscribe to our podcast on all the main podcast platforms, of course, YouTube, and you can find us on our website also at blueriverd.com, and just go to the podcast page and you can watch all the old episodes there too. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.